Oh, brah! Kings 11 Punjab and the Virat Kohli. Oh, sorry, it's the English show. Hello. Welcome to MPL Presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Michael Vaughan and Joy Bhattacharjya. Oh, hello, gentlemen. Hello, then. Look at him. He's again just... I'm trying to ignore it, but he just doesn't. He's so gracious in victory. Just look at him. Just look at him. Chuffing away like a cat who got the cream.
Like London buses.
Like London buses.
Right colour as well.
Yes.
Cheshire Cat. It's Michael Vaughan who's got the MPL Super Couch because he got his prediction correct again for the second time today. The first game also he got it. He was just 2 runs away. Or actually he was 2 runs above the actual score today. Also, second game he's 2 runs above the actual score. Very well done. You said 175.
Yes.
Got to 173.
But I will say that if Virat Kohli and his team had reviewed that LBW, which was
Chris Gayle.
absolutely plumb on Chris Gayle early, Umesh Yadav had a big appeal. And that's almost a sign of the RCB's mentality, that they're kind of just not getting their act in order. If you go out to field as a captain, as a team, you know how important Chris Gayle is. If you're, you've got a review up your sleeve.
Yeah.
If you're just half interested against Chris, you go for it.
Correct.
It's that important. And for them not to have reviewed that one. And even if it's going down the leg side, it's worth the effort. It's worth the go against someone like Gayle.
And the way you looked at it, you said, okay, at worst, it's going to be pitching, umpire's call. You still retain your reviews. The margin is big.
Well, that's why the era of the review now is in favour of the fielding team, because you keep your review if it's an umpire's call. Yeah. So those kind of semi ones where you think, oh, it might be just an umpire, you go for it because you know you keep the review. I mean, the howler, obviously, if you think it's an absolute stinker of a decision, it's going miles down the leg side or pitching it off, you don't review that. But, that was one where you think, wait a minute, Chris Gayle's so important, it was worth the...
Yeah, I should have just done that.
And also, Umesh is your strike bowler. You know he's not the greatest bowler at the death. What did he do for you last year? He gave you 3 wickets in an over in the first over. He gave you breakthroughs. That's what he does. And if you're not going to back him, even if you play him, if you're not going to back his call, it just doesn't make sense.
Of course, it was, they pulled it back. You've got to say they pulled it back, right? After the power play, the totally on fire power play that Kings 11 had, and they will, right, when they're going hammer and tongs with Rahul and Gayle. They got 90, and that's why they slowed down, 11 to 16. Again today, we saw it with Mumbai earlier today, we've seen it with these guys. That's not good enough.
Well, there wasn't enough activity. When Chris Gayle's out there, he's basically 4-6 or a 1, and a very... He doesn't run the 1, does he? He just walks the 1, and that's where they lost a little bit of momentum. Moeen Ali bowled nicely, didn't go for too many, and I didn't feel that they tried to put Moeen Ali under any pressure. It was almost as if they tried to wait for the bad ball. It was never going to come. He bowls pretty consistently, and they didn't force him into bowling that bad ball. And it might be like the first game where that period could cost them the game because the pitch looks good. It generally gets better in Mohali. Very similar to the first game, though, they're up against a team that haven't won. And will that cost them because the mentality and the mindset at the minute isn't of winning games?
Yeah.
On another day when you're playing a team that's been winning, this should be a stroll in the park, but, RCB hasn't won yet.
Yeah.
No, also, just the way that they did it, that somebody else, okay, Chris Gayle, will tire also. He's 40 years old. He's not the best runner. He's strong as ever, but he's not the best runner. So he's going to tire at some point in time, okay? Moeen Ali is bowling. He's an off spinner. He's taking the ball away from him. Somebody else has to take the risk at that point in time.
True.
Somebody else has to say, okay, I'm going to step up and hit these now because, he's going to play this out and it's important. By the time he gets his breath back, then he's going to go for 12, 13 in the end. But right now, they're 10 overs, so even if I get out, it doesn't matter. I have to take chances. Nobody did that and caught it by the scruff of their neck, and that's important. The other problem is, Mayank Agarwal went out early. Rahul and Agarwal are the only 2 batsmen who looked like they were going to try and do something by themselves.
Yeah.
Really, Mandeep and Sarfraz did not show enough intent to justify them batting in the top 6 in an IPL side.
Yeah, they got Sam Curran in, of course, and they got Sam Curran early, but so... They had that idea saying, all right, we're going to get a couple of quick runs. We're going to do it. But you just saw the spinners today in RCB, and it just brings me back to the pre-show where Michael said that Virat's got to be braver when using his spinners. He's got to use the spinners more. He did today. It paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. Chahal's magnificent. He's just a wonderful spin bowler that... All right, 2 for 33, you wouldn't look at those figures and think outstanding. It's just the way that he bowls. He gambles a little bit. He gives it a little bit of flight. He's wonderful.
8 for 52 and 3 wickets with both your spinners. with 19 dot balls.
Yeah, well, I look at those 10 dot balls that Moeen Ali bowled in 4 overs.
Yeah.
An over and 4 balls of dots. With all the fielders out, there was no real squeeze. You're not trying to squeeze the batsman when Moeen's on in the middle. You're kind of just accepting singles. And for him to bowl 10 dot balls, you know, I think the Kings will look back at that and think that could potentially cost them the game. They've got a chance of defending, of course they have, but they might look at that period that we keep mentioning at the end of the game thinking we should have been a bit more active.
Also, Navdeep was very impressive. He's got on better and better. And, you know, for a long time, Michael has been talking about where do you bowl to a man like Chris Gayle? And he just said, you bowl to him in the armpit, tuck him up, don't give him space. And that's exactly what he did today. And it was fantastic because Chris Gayle at some point realized that nothing is happening at the other end and I need to have a go. And I think it was 15th or 16th over and he just couldn't get Navdeep away. Navdeep kept bowling to him in the places where he was not comfortable, shorter ones. And that's a sign of a guy who's maturing because he's always been bowling, every day he's been bowling 6, 8, 10 good balls. Yeah. But he's not been able to bowl 14, 15, 16 good balls.
But Joe, the thing about the bouncer to Chris Gayle, if you're bowling in here to Chris Gayle, so he'll be thinking that he thinks it's always coming. So you're bowling short and you kind of tuck him up. And then what comes available to you as a bowler is that wide one. Yeah. Because he's thinking it's going to be in here. If you throw it out wide, that he's a long way from that ball. He's not in a position to get to the ball. Yeah. So you've got two gambits. You go here, he might get you, but you put your square leg back and you put your fine leg back. You might get an opportunity of a catch. But you restrict him from that piece of willow in his hand, the Universe Boss bat.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I want one. I really want. It must be. I bet this is probably lighter. It's that heavy.
No, I said you'll have a lot of excess baggage going back to England.
Exactly what I was thinking.
It's going to cost you a fortune to carry those around, but there's no way. I mean, I know he's a strong chap, but to get the bat up high and swing it from up there, for here, it's just a little jab for him, but to get it up and swing from that high, I think it's fair. I know you've only got 1 and over, but I'm talking here. Here.
Yeah, just up here, yeah.
Into the guns. Into his big guns. Get into here, get tight, follow him.
I've got an idea for Michael to take the bats back. Cancel your flight. Just sit on the bat. Just it's a long way home, but you know. All right, well, is it a long way home for RCB now? You look at that batting attack and you say 174. It's Mohali, right? You've got this batting lineup. You're going far down. You've got proper batting up till Akshdeep, right?
7.
You've got the hitters. You've got the best in the world with Virat and AB. If you keep your head, they should do this.
Well, yeah, they should. I mean,
the only reason you're not backing them is because they're 0 from 6, right? Because of the winning mindset.
Yeah, because of the mentality that the team have had. It's always difficult to get. We just seen Rajasthan Royals nearly lose from absolutely strolling the game, and that's what cricket does to you. Any sport does that when you've not been winning. You just lose that sense and that ability to get over the line. Getting over the line in any sport is the hardest thing of all time, and particularly when you've been losing. And that's what the RCB team have been feeling for a while. It'll take Virat, as it took Joss Buttler in the first game, to get Rajasthan off to that flyer and real kind of belief in the dugout. When you've got a player like Buttler right in the middle, I think the belief that the RCB team get when Virat's out there is monstrous. So it's important that Virat leads from the front.
About the Punjab bowling, Joy, they've got the chops to sort of stop because you've got to take wickets.
I just didn't miss Mujiba because I don't know why, but as a rule, IPL captains tend to play less spinners, and they are always more effective than you think they are. And so they're probably a spinner short out here. See, the only thing is, again, there's no confidence in the lower order. So, see, the bowlers out here, they have the bowlers. Murugan Ashwin is there. Shami will bowl well up front, but at some point in time, this is not the greatest bowling attack in the world. And they don't have, it's not that they have 7, 8 bowlers to play around with. It's basically Karan, Ashwin, Taya, Shami and Murugan. None of the others I see really.
They only have 5 bowlers.
Yeah.
Ashwin's been failing. He's just been going with 5 bowlers.
Yeah, and none of the others. Gayle hasn't bowled in a long, long time.
Gayle doesn't field generally when he's batted.
Very interesting to see whether he.
Yeah, my point will be that Virat, if Chris Gayle goes on and says, "Look, I'm struggling, I can't field," I believe that Virat Kohli should say, "I'm sorry, you've just batted for 20 overs. You've got to get out there and field." Yeah. And if you can't field, you know what? I'm not allowing you to have a sub.
Yeah.
Why should he have a sub? He's just batted for 20 overs. You know, you can't just keep batting and then say, we're not in the era of the old days with the old amateurs where someone had a fielder for them.
Exactly.
No, you took a fielder around. I think Geoffrey Boycott started out. He used to just bat, so you field for me. We're not in that era.
Or Arjuna Ranatunge, who's had more runners in the history of mankind. I mean, everyone here has run for him.
Yeah. Listen, it's not the royals of old playing cricket, right? run for me.
You know the origin of whipping boy, the concept of whipping boy. So the original schools, in the public schools of England, what they used to do is that the royals used to go there, dukes and duchesses, their children used to go there. So when they used to commit a misdeed, they used to go there with their servants. So when they used to commit a misdeed and get punishment, their servants used to get whipped. So they didn't get whipped, their servants got whipped. So basically, you've done something terrible, let me whip your servant. 6 of the best. So that's where the term whipping boy comes from.
I'm never going to use it again.
And in fact, there is a school in India called Rajkumar College, which I think is somewhere in Jabal.
No, I know. It's in, isn't it in Jojita Bhai Sikandar?
No, that's
Rajput College, sorry.
Rajput. But there's a Rajkumar College where the princes and royalty used to go, and they had the same thing. You'd come to the school with your servants and your retinue and everything.
Horses.
Why not?
Chariots.
Why not?
Wow, I suddenly feel we've gone back to like the early 1900s. But right now we're in 2019, and in 2019 you back a team to get 174 in Mohali. You've also got Michael Vaughan sitting on his throne.
If I get 3 in a day, do I keep it?
Yeah, but
you're going to keep it. One second.
And that bat, how much are
you going to carry back, Michael? Well, Michael, I got an idea.
I don't mind to get this back to my house. Get one of those Universe Boss bats. I'd pay anything for that.
But if you get 2 of the bats, you can put the super couch on it, and you'd have a raft.
A Thor head dial of Michael Vaughan.
I'll give you a volleyball, draw a face on it. You say, Wilson! And the 2 of you just float away to England. All right, RCB would like to float to a victory, man. They really do. They need to get some points. I mean, you're looking at that now, and you're feeling terrible. I mean, even if you're not an RCB supporter, you're going, come on, they got to win. They're just too good. They really do. Can they put these 2 points on the board? Well, 174, it's not a big hill, but they have faltered at those shorter than this. Well, we're going to catch you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox right now. That's all we have time for on MPL Presents Cricbuzz Live. We will see you again. Goodbye.